Hey, it's Matthew, and before we jump into the episode, I just wanted to share a little bit of love that I have for the Having It All Blueprint course. Because I've been in the space that you might find yourself in right now, where you're feeling frustrated. Maybe you're feeling a little bit lost or confused, like you don't have direction or you aren't really clear on your purpose, or you don't know why you keep starting and stopping things in your life. And you feel like you're kind of caught in this cycle and you just keep repeating the same things again and again. I've totally been there, and I've seen the impact that that has on my health and on my relationships and on everything that I experience in my life. And what I have done in the Having It All Blueprint is pour in the frameworks and the systems and all the different mindset shifts and changes that I did on myself, first and foremost, that I lived and have walked for so many years that have helped to create a huge transformation in my life. And I put all of that in the blueprint. And the result of me living everything that I teach in the blueprint is that I attracted an incredible queen into my life. I took really bold steps in my work and with entrepreneurship. I reached all new heights in my fitness and in my health. I became a father and fully embraced the role of raising a little girl. And I helped to create an amazing community of people who are there to love me and support me and to fill me up. And all of that is because I walk the walk. And so if you've been feeling any of that frustration, any of that overwhelm, any of that feeling of just being uninspired in your life, and you're ready to walk the walk, then the blueprint can be an incredible tool for you. It can help you do just that. And if you're interested, you can go to matthewbivens.com/blueprint to learn more. And if you're not, if this isn't the timing for you, that's okay too, because the timing has to be right. And so when the timing is right for you, it'll be there. Thank you so much for giving me those couple of minutes. Let's now jump into today's episode. Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Having It All podcast. My name is Matthew Bivens, and if this is your first time here, then what's up? How are you? I'm fantastic. I'm so excited that you're here hanging out because we're going to jump into a really awesome conversation about having it all. And specifically today, I'm talking about how you can assemble your empowerment team. Yes, how you can assemble a crew of people around you where their sole job is to help you become the person that you're meant to become, to help you to be the most powerful, badass version of yourself. And there's a way to go about putting together and assembling this team. And so that's what we're going to dig into in today's episode. And I'm super, super excited because if you've been with me on the podcast for any period of time, then you've heard me talk about my team. And I've been very, very intentional about assembling a powerful group of men and women around me that help hold me to being the greatest version of myself. And so it's one of the most amazing and effective tools that you can have in your arsenal. And that's what we're going to dig into today. So that's going to be awesome. And I'm going to kick things off with some magic because I got some big, amazing magic to share. And this is your first time tuning in. You might be thinking, what the heck is magic? Well, great question. Magic, as we define it here on this show, is your ability to influence self, others, and life in an empowering way. And magic is all about using your power, using your ability to influence. And you are creating magic all the time, but you might not be aware of it. And so what I want to do is I want to help grow your awareness of how powerful and magical you are. And I really want you to be able to tune your antenna in to just see and recognize those amazing moments that you're creating each and every day in your life. Because if you miss them, that's when you start feeling depressed. That's when you start feeling down. That's when you start feeling unhappy. Because you're missing all those amazing magical moments that you're creating. So I'm going to share my big magic, and then I want you to reflect on a magical moment in your life. My magic is yesterday on May 13th, Sarah and I launched Orgasmic Mama. And that is so huge and so magical because we've been working on this thing for months and months and months and months. And really, Sarah's been at the helm, really pushing this thing forward. And what Orgasmic Mama is it's a membership site for mothers to connect with themselves, to learn how to turn themselves on so that they can create incredibly intimate, powerful, awesome relationships in the bedroom and take that energy out into the world. And Sarah has been first of all, she's been putting in these reps on herself for the past 6 years. She's been so committed to her own healing and her own growth and really transforming herself. And she's taken all of those lessons and all of those tools and she's pouring them into this membership site, Orgasmic Mama. And we've been working on this for a while and we launched yesterday. So right now, mamas can go and sign up to be a part of the Orgasmic Mama community. And it's incredibly, incredibly awesome. And there's already some amazing content in there. There's already a bunch of people who have joined. And it's so cool. Sarah's going to be continuing to add more content each month. And she's going to be doing coaching calls and webinars and all sorts of really fun stuff inside that community. And it's just been really awesome putting it all together. And so that's my magic. And I love watching Sarah do her thing. I mean, she is such a badass. She is such a badass. And just really seeing her embrace this role as queen, and just be effortless in it. And that's such a beautiful thing to watch because when a woman really embraces that role as a queen, things happen in life. And she doesn't have to force it. She doesn't have to tap into that yang masculine energy. And it's just an incredible, incredible thing. So I'm watching Sarah be a queen, and now I'm watching her share tools and insights and create support and accountability and a community for other women and other moms to really connect with that within themselves. So it's been awesome, and that is my magic. And if you're interested, by the way, if you're interested in checking out Orgasmic Mama, it's a very affordable membership. It's $35 a month right now. And if you're interested, you can go to my website, MatthewBivens.com, and then in the navigation, you'll see a link to Orgasmic Mama. You just click on that. You can also just go to sarahbivens.com/OM for Orgasmic Mama, and that'll take you there as well. So that's my magic. And now I want you to pause. Pause the episode. Wherever you're doing, just go ahead and pause and reflect on one piece of magic that you have created in the past 24 hours. So go ahead and pause and do that now. And then we're going to move over to some listener love because I got an awesome message on Instagram recently, and I love connecting with you all. It's such a cool thing. It's such a cool thing to really feel the heartbeat of community that we're creating here with Having It All. And so Instagram is one of the ways that we're doing that. And today's listener love goes out to Oliver. And Oliver, I appreciate you connecting with me and reaching out on Instagram. And Oliver, what I really loved about your message is not only have you been listening to the podcast for a while, but you've been getting into action. And that is the coolest thing to me. You've been listening and you've been acting. And, it's really in the application of this stuff that you're going to begin to experience big shift in your life. And I always use this example about swimming. Like if you want to learn how to swim, if you have zero skills at swimming, you've never been able to swim before, you can't simply read books on how to swim, right? You can't just read books on how to swim and watch YouTube videos and study other people. You have to get in the water, right? The people who read the books and then get in the water, they have no idea how to do backstroke, right? You got to actually get in the water, get the water in your nose, learn how to float, and then develop the stroke. And that's the same thing that happens in life. You got to get in. You got to apply stuff. You got to trip. You got to stumble. You got to see what works for you. Because all the things that I share here on the podcast, there's all these different tools and insights and beliefs and all these different things. And I share them with you because a lot of them have been working for me, right? Like I have tested and tried out so many different things, and I'm sharing them with you, but you got to go and test them and try them out for yourself. And so, Oliver, I love the fact that you've been doing that and you've been seeing some shift in your life. So thank you for being it, Oliver. Thank you. And thank you for reaching out and connecting with me. I truly appreciate that. And if anybody else wants to be like Oliver and get into a cool conversation, hit me up on Instagram, Matthew_Bivens, and we could chat. We can talk about whatever. You can give me some feedback. You can give some ideas. You can just share with me what the podcast has done for you. If you want me to shout you out on the show, you could tell me you want me to do that too. And let's just get into a conversation. So Instagram, Matthew_Bivens. Okay. I was thinking, is there anything else that I want to dig into before we jump into this? But no, I want to get into this stuff because I'm excited. I'm going to nerd out a little bit today, and you'll see why in a second. I want to give a shout out. Today's episode was inspired by Erica James Strayhorn and Tracy Knight. And both of you all were talking about this idea of an empowerment team. And when I heard you talking about it, that's what it inspired me. So thank you, Erica and Tracy. Now, all right, so here's what we're going to dig into. Here's the agenda. First, I'm going to talk about what an empowerment team is and why it's important. Then I'm going to go through the key roles that you want covered on your team. Like, who do you want on your squad? I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm going to share with you my empowerment team. I'm going to go through the different people that I've got in my squad and talk about why they're there. And then finally, I'm going to give you some steps about how you can go assembling yours. So let's kick it off with what an empowerment team is. And the reason why I said I'm going to nerd out on this is because I just got back, I think last week, from watching the new Avengers movie, Avengers Endgame. And I've seen it twice, and I love those movies. I love all the Marvel stuff. And I've been watching those movies since they first came out in 2008. And, you know, I'm a big nerd like that. Star Wars is my thing. I'm looking at my Darth Vader helmet right now. And I just love all that stuff, all the sci-fi fantasy stuff. And so Marvel has been on my mind. Like, after I watch the movies, then I go and I listen to podcasts about it, and I watch YouTube videos about it, and I read articles about it. So I dig in. And when Erica and Tracy were talking about an empowerment team, I thought of Avengers, right? Like, I thought of, you know, the Avengers assembling their squad and then going about kicking some ass and you know, saving the world. And so there's in the very first Avengers movie, I forgot when it came out, like 2012 maybe, 2013, something like that. But in the very first Avengers movie, like, they have one of the most iconic scenes of all comic book movies where all the Avengers from the MCU, the original ones, are in New York City, and like they're fighting the invading alien forces. And it's so cool. Like, the camera's panning around and everyone's just doing their thing. Iron Man's doing his thing, and Black Widow and Captain America and Thor and Hulk, and they're just, you know, they're smashing it, and it was awesome. And each one of those Avengers, they all have a unique skill set, right? Every one of them has unique skills that, and they all play a unique role, right? Like, when you know, they need a person to do some stealth stuff, they might call on Black Widow, right? When they need somebody to be able to, you know, hit a target from a mile away, they might work with Hawkeye. When they need someone to just like use some brute strength and smash through stuff, they call on the Hulk. And it's so cool because you watch that movie and everybody's different, everybody's got their role, and then all of them have to come together, right? They all have to come together in order to succeed in the mission, which in that movie is basically saving the planet. And so it makes me think about, you know, the empowerment team in our lives, right? Like, who is your Avengers crew? The people that are coming together in your life, each of them bringing a different skill set, each of them working with you in a different area to help you succeed, right? So if the mission in your life is to be happy, healthy, balanced, and truly, truly enjoy all that life has to offer for you, then who do you have in your corner helping you to create that life? That is an empowerment team. The people that you have in your corner. And if you've seen the Avengers movie, or you know, if you've seen any of them, or even if you haven't, one of the things that you have to know is that in the movie and in life, they had to go and assemble their team, right? Like, they actually had to go and find these people or recruit them sometimes. Sometimes they didn't want to join. They're like, nah, I'm doing my own thing. So sometimes they had to recruit those people. And really, the word here is proactive. They had to be proactive in seeking out the people who had the skills and the abilities that they wanted to fill those roles. And you got to do the same in life. You must do the same. You must be proactive because it doesn't just happen. You don't just stumble across the team of people. It doesn't just come together on its own. Like you got to be proactive in assembling your empowerment team, assembling your Avengers squad. And so that's really what it is. And the reason why it's so important, the reason why you really want to pull together your empowerment team is because whatever it is that you're trying to create in life, it's not going to happen by yourself. It takes a village. It always does. Right? And whatever it is that we're playing for, like those things don't happen solo. And feeling like you're alone or feeling like you can do it alone, that's the trick that your mind plays. That's what the ego tells us. We can do this alone. And that is always rooted in some sort of fear. I can do this alone. I don't need anybody else. Because you know what? In the past, people have burned me. Yeah, I trusted people in the past and they burned me. And so I'm never going to do that again. So I'm going to keep my cards close to my vest. I'm never going to let somebody get really close to me. And I'm going to go out and kick ass in life all by myself. I'm going to prove them wrong, right? Like that's the type of conversation that we have in our minds that then gets us to a spot where we believe we can do things solo. But nothing amazing happens alone, right? And if you don't believe me, then look at the most mundane things in life. Like if you're in your car right now, right? You're driving your car, you're listening to this episode. How did you get the gas in your car? Well, you probably went to the gas station and you grabbed the little nozzle and you put it in your car and you pumped your own gas. Great. How the hell did the gas get to the gas station? It required people. How did the gas come out of the ground and get refined into the fuel that then goes in your car? That requires people as well. Let's say you're walking around the grocery store right now and you're picking your own food and you're going to go back to your home, to your apartment by yourself, cook up your food and fuel your body. And now you feel like I'm going to go tackle the world. Well, guess what? How did the food get into the grocery store? It required people. Right? And maybe you're a type of person, you're like a total recluse. You're like, I don't go to the gas station. I don't go to the grocery store. I sit at home and I order things on Amazon. I don't need anybody. Well, guess what? Who brings you the Amazon packages? People, right? Everything requires people, from the most mundane things to the big things, and especially the big things, in life. They require other people. They require synergizing with others. And that's how you create truly magnificent things. It's through synergizing. It's not by being alone. That's why it's so important for you to have your empowerment team, because the input from those people help you to create something incredible in life, whether it's an incredible business you want to build, or an incredible relationship you want to create, or incredible health. Whatever it is, it's going to require some other people if you truly want it to be amazing. If you want it to just be mediocre, subpar, then go about doing things how you're doing them or believing that you can do them solo. And you'll continue to create some subpar stuff. But if you really want to play for something awesome in life, if you truly want to have it all, then embrace the idea and the reality that it's going to require a team. And it's not even, and like if you're thinking of that as a downer, I mean, and I'm going to share with you in a little bit my team, but the amount of magic that the people that I've surrounded myself with add to my life is through the roof. Part of the reason why my life is so abundant and loving is because of the other people involved, right? So having those folks, having your own Avengers squad is going to add tremendous magic into your life. It truly, truly is. So that's what an empowerment team is, and that's why it's so important. Now, let's talk a little bit about the key roles that you want covered, because you want to cover a couple of different bases to make sure that you've got some input from other people. One of them is physical health. You definitely want to make sure that you've got somebody in your corner who's looking out for your physical health, right? So that can be like a personal trainer or coach in that type of way. It can be somebody who works with you on nutrition, maybe somebody who works with you on supplements. Whatever it is, somebody in your corner that's really working with you on your physical health, or at least a person that you can go to get advice, some sort of advisor in that area. You want somebody in your corner that's working with your finances and your money. Right? If you're an entrepreneur, somebody that works with you on your business. If you're a business owner, somebody that helps to give you advice in that area. A person whose role it is to help make sure that you are financially healthy and sound and peaceful. You want somebody in your corner that's there to help you with your relationship. If you're married, somebody who can be that third party, that other perspective to help give you feedback on your relationship so that you can constantly be going on that upward spiral with it. Somebody who you can talk to about your love life. Somebody who can talk to about your sex life. That person or that people or that group in your life that can really help you become amazing in that area. And you definitely want somebody in your life who's all about your own growth, your own healing, help you to see and recognize that stuff that you're carrying with you from years past that are like ankle weights, keeping you from hitting your full speed in life. The person who's there to help really give you that raw feedback that you need in order to release those things that you're very, very attached to that are wearing you down. Somebody who's there for your growth, somebody who's there to help you transform. So those are some of the key areas that you want. Now, a very simple way to go about kind of mapping out your empowerment team is to look at the 6 F's. The 6 F's plus sex. So I'll go through and tell you what that means. So the 6 F's are faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, and fun. So if you've got somebody in those areas that are part of your Avengers squad, then you're rocking it. Now I add sex in there because that's not currently part of the 6 F's paradigm, like sex and romance, right? So we'll go through it again from top to bottom. So faith. This is like faith and spirituality. Who do you have in your life right now that you can talk to about that area, that you get advice on, or that you just have empowering conversations in that area, in your faith, in your spirituality, in your religion, whatever it is, whatever that thing is for you that's the bigger thing that's out there. Maybe it's science. Fine, great. Who do you have that you could talk to about that and get advice on that and get a greater perspective? The next one is family. And family, you can also think about here like parenting. Because if you're a parent, you might want somebody in your corner that who's been there, done that when it comes to parenting, right? Like I've got 2 couples in my life that I get a lot of parenting advice from. I can ask questions because they got older kids. Their kids are, anywhere from 10 to 12 years older than Maya. And so I can talk to them about the different things that are coming up. Hey, Maya's about to turn 3. This is what's going on. How did you handle that? Like having that person in your life as a parent is huge. It's so huge. So who do you have in your corner that you can talk to about family things or you can talk to about parenting things? Next one is friends. And you may not need somebody who's going to give you advice on your friends, but maybe you just want those types of relationships in your corner because those friendships, like deep friendships, really add a lot into our lives. And so who do you have in your corner? What have you cultivated around friendships? The next one is fitness, right? So your fitness, your physical health. Who is in your corner that's looking out for your fitness and your physical health? Who's helping you to set goals and achieve those goals when it comes to your fitness? Help you maintain a certain level of fitness, get back to a certain level of fitness, or improve your level of fitness. Who do you have in that area of your life? This includes nutrition as well, right? It includes the things that you're putting into your body, as well as what you're doing with your body, moving your body. The next F is finances. And this is your finances as well as your career. So who do you have that you talk to, you get advice from, or you learn from when it comes to your personal finances or your business finances? Or when it comes to your career, do you have a career mentor? A buddy of mine, he works at Whole Foods, and he's been working there for a long time. And we were talking recently, and he was sharing with me that he has a mentor within Whole Foods, somebody who's been there like a decade longer than he has, who's gone through different ranks, who helps him to map out his plan to grow in his career. I thought that was the coolest thing. So who do you have in your life? Doesn't matter where you work, doesn't matter what you do. Who do you have that you can talk to get advice about how you can go about, creating the career that you want and progressing through your career path? And so this one is about your money and your job. And if you don't have a a quote unquote like standard career. Maybe you've created something else for yourself. That's fine. You still have money that goes on in your life. So who do you have in your life that maybe works with you or you and your partner, whatever it is, to help keep that on track? The last F is fun. Who in your life is there to make sure that you have a great time, to make sure that you tap into that childlike play, that you just do things for the fun of them, not because you have to, not because it's your job, not because it's for your kids, not because it's for your spouse, but you do something simply for the enjoyment for yourself. Who is in your corner for that? And then finally, the one that I added here was sex and romance. Who is in your corner to make sure that your relationship with your primary partner is as great as it can be? Or who's in your corner to help you to attract that partner into your life? Because that's an area where we believe that we can go and run solo. But I've talked about this extensively in the past few episodes about sex and our maturity around sex and how so much of that maturity, like we never progress past our early teens, because that's where we got some of our most hardcore lessons, and that's sort of where we get cemented in. So who do you have in your life that's helping you to mature in your relationship, mature in your sexuality? Who do you have that you can talk to about those things? Who's going to have an empowered perspective, a conscious perspective, a healthy perspective? Because you don't want to talk to somebody who's more immature with their sex than you are. That's not going to get you ahead. That's not going to do anything powerful for you. So who is in your corner right now that you can talk to about sex and romance? Those are the areas that you want to cover. Again, faith and spirituality, family and parenting, friendships, fitness, finance and career, fun, sex and romance. Your Avengers squad should have somebody that fills each one of those roles. And you know what? You can have the same person fill multiple roles. That's totally fine. But you want to make sure that you've got all those bases covered in some way. In some way. It doesn't have to be somebody that you interact with on a daily basis. It doesn't mean that you need to go out and hire a coach in each one of those areas. But you want to be able to get insight. Healthy, empowered, conscious, mature insight in each of those areas. Some of them are going to be people you might hire, somebody that you might, work with professionally. Some of them might just be somebody you have in your life, like maybe it's an older family member, or maybe it's a friend who's just very wise, and you can get insight and advice in those areas. But those are the areas you want to cover. All right, now let's talk about my empowerment team. This is my current empowerment team, and this is what I've assembled over years, right? And I definitely didn't think like this in the past. I didn't think about who was in my life to advise me on these different things. Like I remember back in 2010 when I was working at a startup and I was, managing the marketing budget and trying to figure out what the heck we were going to do to grow this company. And I had no experience. Like I came in totally green. And so after a year of just trying to do things on my own and having, not very many wins, I went out and I hired somebody who could help us with our online marketing. And I brought somebody else in. And that was the first time I've ever done that. That was the first time outside of sports, because I've had coaches all through my life in sports. That was the first time in a different area that I brought in somebody who could give me an empowered third perspective. And it was amazing. It was really amazing. So that kind of kicked things off for me. So currently, I've got a number of different people in my life that make up my Avengers squad. So first, I have a really, really powerful, beautiful community, tribe, village that I've created around me. And these are 9 people who are just playing big in life. They're playing big, and they're really doing it in a PPC balanced way. I've talked about this in the past. This is the balance between performance, your golden eggs, and performance capacity, your golden goose. So I've got these 9 people who are really just going big and doing it in a very balanced way, a PPC balanced way. And each one of them are purpose-driven. These are all entrepreneurs and all individuals who are very intentional about creating their lives and their livelihood around their purpose. And that is so key for me because that's what I'm about. I'm about PPC balance that creates profit in a very purposeful way, purpose-driven way. And so I've built relationships with these people all over the years, and I love them. I trust them. I support them, they support me, and they're my crew, right? That's my community, that's my village. So that's on a big scale. That's the village, that's the community piece. And then I have a life coach. His name is Day Adioba. He's been my life coach for 6 years. He's the one I talk to about all sorts of different things, and he gives me feedback and advice and perspective across a full range of spectrum of different things. I have a business coach. Actually, I had a business coach, and now I've transitioned into a financial coach. So I had a business coach for a while, and then I felt moved to bring on somebody as a financial coach, and that's the engagement I'm starting. I just started about a month ago, and that's awesome, right? That's somebody who's helping me with my finances, helping me to hold me accountable, right? To just really getting on top of my money for myself and for my business. So that's huge for me. I've got several people who work with me on the fitness aspect. And I've got a chiropractor here in Atlanta, and he helps me to get my body back into alignment so that my energy can flow. And I love that, having that chiropractor in my corner, and he helps me in that way. It's amazing. And then I've got Day, who's also my life coach, but he's also my personal trainer. And that's awesome too. I get to work out with him every week, and he puts my body through all sorts of physical stress so that I can grow in my body and build more muscle and create a different relationship to stress and just overall keep my fitness at a high level, because I have a very high standard for my personal fitness. And I also have another coach in my life. His name is Anthony Strayhorn, and he's an incredible coach, and he's at a higher level of fitness than me. So it's super cool to be able to be coached by him, because he's higher than me, so I can learn from him and just watch him and learn by his example. And then I've got some business relationships that I have conversations with them about once a month, maybe 3 weeks. And they keep the fires of business and entrepreneurship stoked within me. And one of them I talk to just about podcasting. It's all about podcasting and how to grow the podcast and the community and all the different things that are on the podcast brand. And then my other friend is there to help me with entrepreneurship and really growing like digital products and growing in that way. And I make sure that I have conversations with them again, like every 3-4 weeks we get together and we hammer it out for a few hours. And then I've got a group of people that are really there to support Sarah and I in our relationship. Right? One of them is our small accountability groups. Sarah sits in a group and I lead a group. And through those two groups collectively, we get so much guidance and insight on our relationship. And we could talk about our relationship. We could talk about our sex life. We could talk about all those things. And we get such amazing feedback and support from those two groups. And then Sarah, I know I'm getting into Sarah stuff, but she sits in with a group of women. It's just a women's only group. And that's another group that is there to help support Sarah and her relationships. So that includes me as well. Now, for the fun, I've got friends that I do all sorts of different fun things with. Like, I got friends that I can nerd out with over Avengers movies and Star Wars movies and DC movies, right? Like, we can go to the theater and talk about that stuff, and we share articles back and forth, and it's a lot of fun. And then I got friends that I go to the different conventions with. I love going to Dragon Con here in Atlanta, comic book convention, and I got friends that I do that with. Then I got friends I play basketball with, friends that I can get into some physical movement with. And I love to be able to flex those muscles with that group of friends. And then I mentioned my small group. Well, I'm a part of this small group called a COI, Circle of Influence. And that group of people is intentionally there 100% to support me and keeping me on my path to greatness. And I lead that group. So that's an amazing deposit, an amazing crew of people that I've got around me. And lastly, I have a business mastermind group that I'm a part of as well. And they help me to keep the business moving forward. And the big thing that they do for me is hold me accountable, because it's easy to just say I'm going to do something and then never follow through on it. And so that group is there to help hold me accountable. So I just dropped a whole lot of different people and groups that I've placed in my life that's part of my Avengers squad. And if you're thinking like, holy crap, that's just too many, like too many people, it was too confusing. Well, I'll let you know. There's a lot of overlap, right? So there's within the 9-person community, that community right there is broken into several of the other groups that I mentioned. So there's a lot of overlap. There's also, like, this has been compiled over years. So it didn't start out like this. So if you're thinking, I've got nobody in my corner and you're hearing me talk about how there's, a dozen plus people in my corner, and you're thinking, how the hell am I going to get there? That's not what you want to do. You want to start out with just one. Get one person in your corner, and then another person in your corner. And that's how you grow it slowly over time. So what I shared with you is what I got right now. That's my current empowerment team. And it's going to grow and it's going to shrink. And that's just what it does. But I know that I'm going to have those bases covered. I know that I'm going to have my faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, fun, and romance covered. There's going to be people who are filling each one of those roles. And that's always going to be there. Because that's how I stay sharp. That's how I continue to grow. That's how I stay on an upward trajectory. And that's what I want. I want those people around me because I'm playing for big things, right? I'm playing for that peace, that happiness, that fulfillment. I'm playing to have massive impact on the world. And this group of people helps me do that. Now, this isn't the only place that Sarah and I have been really intentional about creating a super team. We did it with our home birth. We did it with Maya's birth. We had a really awesome birth team where everybody on the team had a very specific role. So we had one midwife and two assistants, and they were the primary sort of overseers of everything having to do with our birth. And then we had a doula there. That was one of our friends, and she was there primarily to support Sarah. She was there all about supporting Sarah and whatever Sarah needed. And then, I was there in the birth as well, and my role was, again, to just be right there connected with Sarah. And so it was important to Sarah that there was somebody there to support me, which was really cool. I never thought about that, but we had a guy there who was there to support me and make sure that if I needed to tag out for any reason, like, if I was getting tired of and needed to go to the bathroom or get a bite to eat, he could swap in and fulfill my role. Then we had my mom, and my mom was there to be an all-around support, but she was also there to take care of the dogs and to cook food and to make sure the house was in order. And then we had somebody there who was documenting and taking photos. So we had our own Avengers squad for Maya's home birth. And it was really, really amazing to have that group of people because each one of them played a specific role and each one of them helped create the ultimate outcome, which was a beautiful, empowering, amazing birth. So you see, you can have this in your life on a big scale, and then you can create your team for individual missions, right? So for individual missions you can have your squad around you. All right. So that covers what my current team is. And now, lastly, I want to talk about building your empowerment team, how you can create your Avengers squad. Right? So there's a couple of steps you can go through. If this is brand new stuff to you and you feel like you don't have anybody specifically in your corner in any of these areas, then that's great. I'm going to walk you through how to go about creating that. And if you currently have a squad, but you want to build, more people, add to it, this is going to help you too. So first, I want you to write down an objective, right? What's the objective? If you're going to be assembling this group of people together, why are they coming together? So it can be as simple as you writing down, what are you playing for in life? What are some of the things that you want to create? Who is it that you want to become? Now, this can be a simple statement, like a simple sentence that you write, or it can be more thorough and you can really map this out. It's up to you, right? I've got a mission statement. It's a very thorough mission statement. I've shared it on the show before. I've got my values all listed out. I've got a plan for my business and I'm working on evolving that plan now. So I have very detailed, very detailed documents about what I'm playing for in life. And that works for me. But that may not be what you want. You might want something simple, but you need to write down some sort of objective. This is the whole idea of beginning with the end in mind. So write down what it is that you're looking to play for in life, meaning what inspires you. Who do you want to become? What's the impact you want to have? Write that sort of thing down. Next step is to list out the roles that you feel you're going to need to help make that happen. Now, I gave you an idea with the 6 Fs plus sex. Those are some roles that are going to help you in your overall life. So if that's the type of Avengers team you want to assemble, like your life empowerment team, then cover those 6 Fs plus sex. Otherwise, maybe there's, the mission is something specific, like I shared with the home birth example. That's fine. Whatever that is, then you write down the roles that you're going to need to accomplish that mission. Write them all down. Like, I need a person who's going to be there to help me with my physical health. I need somebody who's going to be there to help me with my mental health. I want somebody who's going to advise me on spiritual matters, right? Whatever it is, write down your roles. Then I want you to write down the names of the current superheroes that you have to fill those roles. Current superheroes, okay? Write down people's names, right? Like, if it's business advisor, business coach, or somebody to give me business advice, that's going to be Susan. Susan is the person I have in my life that gives me business advice, right? Don't put a name down there if they aren't a superhero. Like, if they aren't Avengers caliber, don't put a name down there. If they are just somebody to fill a role, you don't want that. You want somebody who really, truly has the gifts and the talents that can add to your life. That's really going to be able to give you some powerful, healthy advice when you need it. You want your super squad, not your scrub squad. All right? So it's okay if you don't have names in all those roles. That's totally fine. But I want you to write down the names of the current superheroes you have to fill the roles that you identified in the previous step. Now, once you've done that, you're going to have your list of all the roles that you need. You're going to have names next to the roles that you currently have filled. Now you're going to be able to see the roles that are unfilled. Maybe it's all of them. That's fine. Maybe it's 1 or 2. Once you've identified the roles that are currently unfilled, well, now you know which people or which groups or communities you need to go out and create and seek and attract. So once you do that, the next step is to come up with some ideas as to how you can actually fill those roles, right? So who can you build a relationship with that might be able to fulfill a role? Maybe you have that person in mind. Or what groups can you go and join and participate in that can fill a role? Remember, I've got a community around me. I've also got a small accountability group, and I've also got business mastermind groups, right? And so each one of them fulfill different roles. So what groups do you think you might need in your life? Maybe you want multiple people advising you on parenting. Okay, great. So go and then identify some parenting groups you can go be a part of. I guarantee they have them in your town. Absolutely. You can also ask yourself, like, where can you go to meet the people that might be able to fulfill a role? Maybe it's a financial advisor that you want for your personal or your business finances. Okay. So where can you go to potentially meet those people? Are there meetups happening around you? Are there co-working spaces? If there's co-working spaces in your town, chances are they have events. Go see what that list of events are and see if one of those events is being put on by a financial advisor. That's how I met my business coach, by the way. I went to an event and she was speaking at it. It was a podcasting meetup and she was there speaking. And I was like, wow, she's really brilliant. I want to talk to her. And I approached her afterwards. And a month later, we were working together and she was my business coach. Right? So I identified a place that I wanted to go to and I met a person at the place. So another way that you can, another thing you can do to try and find those people is think about who you can talk to that might know the people that could fill the role, right? Look, so for example, Sarah and I talked to our chiropractor to get recommendations on midwives. This is when we were putting together our Avengers team for our home birth. We knew that chiropractors are involved in holistic health, and we learned by going to our chiropractor that a lot of them support home birth. A lot of chiropractors are born at home, at least here in Atlanta. It was really amazing. I had no idea that the parallels existed, but they do. So we talked to our chiropractor to get recommendations on midwives. So who can you talk to that might be able to recommend a person to fulfill the role on your team? Right? So it's all about, once you've identified that person or that role that needs to be filled, you got to go about being proactive. And that's the last point about this. Like, you have to go be proactive. You have to go out and find the people, or create the people, or attract the people to be on your team. It's not going to happen by you just sitting around. Like, the Avengers had to go and assemble the Avengers. They were all individual superheroes doing their individual things, and they had to come together and assemble as a group. And it was only when they assembled as a group were they able to take on really big missions, right? Missions that were about saving the world, saving the universe, stuff like that. Because you're not going to be able to do that stuff by yourself. So if you're playing for something big in life, like you really want to heal from some traumatic past relationships, or you really want to grow in your physical health, or you really want to become a more powerful version of yourself, right? Those are big missions. Those missions require teams. So you need to go be proactive about assembling your Avengers squad. And you can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it. You know, I don't want anybody to think that they're unable to attract people, that they're not worthy of having people in their corner. You know, because if that's how you think right now, that's an area for you to address. You're absolutely worthy. You are so worthy of it, because you have incredible gifts, talents, and passions that you're going to pour out onto the world that people cannot wait to experience. Like, there are people right now who are chomping at the bit to experience what you have to offer them. Whether it's a business idea, or whether it's your love, or whether it's whatever it is, there are so many people out there who cannot wait to experience what you have to offer. And so you absolutely deserve to have a crew of people behind you, helping you to become that greatest version of yourself, so that you can go and have the impact on the world that you want. And maybe the impact you want to have is, on your immediate family. Great. It doesn't always have to be this whole big thing about saving the world. That's not what I'm advocating at all. I simply want you to be able to have that crew around you that can help you, who are there specifically to help you create the life you want. Because when you have that crew, like when you've got that Avengers squad, it's incredible. It's like mind-blowing what you can accomplish. It truly, truly is. And it doesn't happen solo. This stuff is not going to happen alone. You're not going to heal yourself alone. You're not going to transform into the person you want to be alone. It just doesn't happen. You got to have that group around you. So now you've got some steps. I mapped it out for you. And the steps that I shared with you, that's what I did, right? Especially that last one of being proactive. I was super proactive in saying yes to invitations, in going to different meetups, in connecting with people, in asking people for mentors, of all that stuff, asking people to be my coach. You just got to be proactive. So I'm super thrilled because I want you to go out there and just assemble your Avengers squad. It's going to be so awesome. It's going to be so awesome. So share with me what comes up. I would love to hear, who's on your squad, who's a person that has been super, super instrumental to you, that like your life has transformed because you had this individual or this group. Or share with me, if you haven't attracted that person yet, share with me who you want on your squad. Hey, maybe I know somebody who might be able to fill that role. So use me as a resource, right? So reach out, connect with me, Matthew_Bivens on Instagram, mattcbivens@gmail.com, and let me know who is an amazing superhero on your current squad, or what is a role that you're looking to fill, and reach out to me and connect. I love this stuff. I want to go watch Avengers again now. If you haven't seen Endgame yet, go check it out. It's incredible. I initially had some spoilers in this episode, but I was like, no, I can't even put a spoiler tag on this thing, because I want people to get this message regardless as to whether or not you've seen Avengers Endgame yet. So I scratched that from what I wanted to share. All right. Go be awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me to talk about this. I'm just excited for you to know that you have it all, and to really be experiencing your life in an abundant and loving way. It is so much more than possible for every single one of us. It so is. And I know that I just want that. I want that for you. Because listen, I want this community to be full of people who are having it all. who unequivocally know that they have it all, and it's because of their power that they've gone about creating it. When we have a community of people who are all humming on that frequency, there is nothing that we can't accomplish. Nothing. So that's what all these conversations are about on this podcast. It's about, sharing with you the tools and the insights and the mindsets and creating some accountability and giving some feedback so that you can feel so empowered to go out and create the life that you truly want. Yes. Beautiful stuff. All right. My name is Matthew Bivens, and here is to you having it all. Peace. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.